It looks soft. That's the trap. Pale green, almost fuzzy, lined with delicate tufts that seem to invite a curious hand to reach out and touch them, the way a caterpillar is supposed to look in a children's picture book. But hidden inside every one of those tufts is a hollow spine connected to a venom gland, and the instant skin makes contact, hundreds of microscopic needles snap and inject toxins simultaneously, turning an innocent touch into an injury that can leave a grown adult gasping, certain something far worse than a caterpillar just happened to them. This is the Moth Caterpillar, found throughout much of the eastern and central United States, from the Gulf Coast up through the Midwest and into parts of the Northeast. It feeds on a wide variety of common trees and shrubs found in backyards, parks, and wooded areas, which means encountering one doesn't require any special habitat or rare environment. It simply requires reaching toward a leaf, a branch, or a garden plant without looking closely enough first. What makes the Moth Caterpillar dangerous isn't a bite or a sting in the way most people imagine venomous encounters. It's something more passive and, in some ways, more unsettling. Urticating spines, specialized hollow bristles covering its body that function less like an active weapon and more like a hidden trap, requiring no movement, no aggression, and no awareness on the caterpillar's part at all. Each spine connects to a tiny venom gland beneath the skin, and the spines themselves are fragile, designed to break off easily on contact, which means even the lightest brush against the caterpillar's body can cause dozens or even hundreds of these microscopic structures to snap simultaneously, each one delivering a small dose of venom directly into the skin of whatever touched it. The venom contained in these spines is a mixture of compounds that primarily target the body's pain-sensing and inflammatory systems, rather than causing the kind of tissue destruction seen in more aggressive venomous creatures. It contains histamine-releasing compounds, which trigger the same itching, swelling, and redness response associated with allergic reactions, along with other irritant proteins that directly stimulate pain-sensing nerve endings in the skin, essentially tricking the nervous system into registering an intense burning injury at every single point of contact. Because hundreds of spines can break and inject venom in a single touch, the resulting reaction isn't comparable to one small sting. It's comparable to many dozens of tiny stings firing simultaneously across the same patch of skin. Evolutionarily, this defense mechanism wasn't built to actively hunt or attack anything. It evolved purely as protection, a way for a slow-moving, defenseless creature to survive against birds, small mammals, and other predators by making any attempt at contact so immediately and overwhelmingly painful that predators learn quickly to leave it alone. The caterpillar doesn't need to see a threat coming or react in any way. The weapon does all the work passively, simply by existing on its body, which is precisely why human encounters happen the way they do, not through pursuit or confrontation, but through a moment of simple physical contact that triggers a defense mechanism never meant to involve a human hand at all. The moment skin brushes against the caterpillar's spines, the sensation arrives almost instantly, an intense, sharp, burning, or stinging pain that many people describe as disproportionate to what they expected from something that looked so harmless only seconds before. There's often a visible reaction within the first minute. Small red welts or raised bumps appearing across the contact area, sometimes in a pattern that roughly traces where the spines made contact, the skin reddening rapidly as the body's histamine response activates throughout the area. Over the following 5 to 15 minutes, the burning sensation frequently intensifies before it begins to fade, and itching often develops alongside the pain, sometimes becoming the dominant sensation as histamine continues spreading its effects locally. Many people describe an urge to scratch that makes the reaction worse, since further irritating already inflamed skin tends to increase swelling and prolonged discomfort. The affected area, particularly if the contact involved a sensitive area like the inner forearm or neck, can swell noticeably, the skin becoming puffy, warm, and tender to the touch. For most people, symptoms peak within the first hour and then begin a slow decline, the burning gradually softening into a dull ache or persistent itch that can linger, frustratingly, for a day or two afterward, sometimes longer if numerous spines made contact across a larger area of skin. In some documented cases, particularly when a hand or arm brushed directly across the caterpillar's full body rather than a glancing touch, the reaction has been severe enough to involve more than just localized symptoms. Nausea, headache, and general malaise have been reported, likely tied to the cumulative inflammatory load when an unusually high number of spines deliver venom at once. As with many venomous encounters involving histamine-releasing compounds, there's also a separate allergic risk for sensitized individuals. In rare cases, a significant caterpillar spine exposure has triggered a more systemic allergic response, including widespread hives beyond the contact site or, in the most extreme and uncommon scenarios, symptoms resembling a broader allergic reaction requiring medical attention, though significant respiratory involvement from this particular caterpillar remains rare in documented cases compared to true anaphylaxis triggers like stinging insects. Picture a child playing in a backyard, drawn toward a caterpillar resting on a low tree branch, its pale green body and soft-looking fringe making it seem like exactly the kind of harmless creature worth picking up for a closer look. The moment small fingers close around it, a sharp burning sensation spreads instantly across the palm, the child dropping it immediately and crying out, confused about what just happened to a creature that looked nothing like the dangerous insects parents usually warn them about. Treatment is generally straightforward and effective, removing any visible broken spines from the skin using tape, which lifts the fragile fragments away cleanly, followed by washing the area thoroughly with soap and water to clear remaining venom residue. Applying ice helps reduce swelling and dull the burning sensation, while over-the-counter antihistamines and topical corticosteroid creams help manage itching and inflammation over the following day or two. Anyone experiencing widespread hives, difficulty breathing, or symptoms beyond the local reaction should seek medical attention. Though for the vast majority of encounters, full recovery happens within a couple of days without any lasting effects. There's one more detail about this caterpillar that explains exactly why its appearance is so deceptively effective at luring people into touching it in the first place. Here's the detail almost nobody knows. The Moth Caterpillar's soft, almost cute appearance isn't an accident or a separate trait unrelated to its venom. Researchers studying urticating caterpillars have noted that the very same fuzzy, approachable look that makes people want to touch it is, in a sense, doing exactly what evolution shaped it to do, presenting itself as harmless enough to be approached at close range by a predator, only for the spines to deliver their defensive payload the instant contact is made. In other words, the caterpillar isn't surviving despite looking touchable. In a strange evolutionary sense, looking touchable may actually be part of how its defense functions at all, drawing a curious creature close enough for the spines to do their work before any retreat is possible. What makes the Moth Caterpillar so unsettling isn't venom potency or aggressive pursuit. It's the quiet, patient nature of a defense system that requires nothing from the creature itself except existing in plain sight, waiting for curiosity to do the rest. And somewhere in that same backyard, on that same afternoon, something else may be waiting too, something that won't announce its danger with color or shape at all. Most of us trust the everyday world around us more than we should. Stories like this prove that trust can break without a single warning sign. If you'd rather know the danger before it finds you, subscribe now, because what's coming next might be even closer to home than this one.